Alright, so sorry for that short interruption. It was due to internet service, and so I want us to pick it up from where we stopped. And the CCTV camera systems, we are looking at analog CCTV for now, because there are still analog CCTV systems that are still in the system, and also which are still relevant nowadays. And so when you look, we talk of CCTV, there are still analog CCTV systems. Introduce to you two similar cameras. These two cameras, which are very similar in look, but these two cameras are not. This particular one here, which is also a normal camera, a camera that looks like this one. These two cameras has an Ethernet connection port on its terminal. It has an Ethernet connection port, an audio connection port. We'll talk about the audio connection port later, but basically it has a power connection port and then also the Ethernet connection port for video connection. When you take this camera, which is also in this, it also has the video connection port, which is the BNC connection or the BNC port. This one that has the BNC, this camera having the BNC connector, it is what we call the analog camera. And this particular one, which has the Ethernet port, this same kind of port that digital cameras or IP cameras. So that is the basic difference. I want to select analog cameras here. This particular camera that you find here, the one I'm holding currently, it is an analog camera, just connector, which is a BNC connector. So its BNC connector, the BNC connector presence, let me say, is what makes it an analog camera. And of course, there's a power terminal as well. And for the power terminal, you find it on any kind of camera. This is the reason. Every camera you set, which is an electronic device, its main function is to be able to give you sound or maybe radio channels. But you need to first put in power. It could be battery powered or electricity powered before you can have its function performed. And so it is IP camera requires power to be able to function. And so it is not the power terminal that determines the kind of camera it is. It is the video connection connector and then also an Ethernet connector or the video connection point. So this camera or an IP camera, just for the presence of the Ethernet connection port on this terminal. And for the video, as I mentioned, you find it on any kind of camera. Because when I take this camera connection port, which is for the video connection into the camera or from the camera, so it is an analog camera. So that's and analog cameras come with the B. You realize that analog CCTV systems have evolved to a point where there used to be various systems in the olden days or in the immediate past. There used to be various kinds of analog CCTV systems or the AHD systems. So we do not have any kind of older systems of AHD or analog, are what we call analog high definition cameras. AHD, you would have heard of AHD, but the presence of the HD in that name does not make it digital camera. So the latest version of analog cameras you find nowadays is what we call the AHD CCTV cameras. And the cameras that I showed you, these cameras that I have here, are all AHD cameras. This camera is an AHD camera. It is an analog high definition camera. And you realize that there are myths where people think that if you can view the CCTV camera on your phone or you can view it online, then it means that it's a digital camera. No. These analog cameras that I have here, in subsequent lessons, we'll see how to set them up, and I'll show you how you can even link AHD or analog high definition cameras to the internet technology analog cameras. And so that is something you should note very well. Let's look at the next information I want to share as their video terminals, and then also the IP cameras having the Ethernet port on their connection terminal. Now let's look at this fact, the reason for having all these various shapes of cameras. As I showed, we have so many shapes of these cameras. So I want us to look at the reason why there are diverse shapes of these CCTV cameras. So I want to point to the cameras again so that you get to see. Let me explain the reason for all these shapes of cameras. All right, so here are the cameras. AHD or analog high definition camera. This particular camera is an AHD camera because it has a B and C connector. And two. Whoa, very sorry for that interruption in sound. I'm very sorry. Very sorry, please. To be able to restore all these sound challenges and all the challenges we faced so far, so that in subsequent lessons I would get to ensure that all these are duly catered for, so that we don't have these interruptions. Very sorry, my viewers. I'm so sorry the sound went off. But I think I want us to continue. Let me see where I can continue from. Our bullet cameras, or cameras installed in outdoor locations. By their shape, or because of how they look, they are referred to as bullet cameras, and they are mainly meant for outdoor purposes. Whether it's an analog camera or an IP camera, you'll find that these shapes are all bullet cameras. They are called bullet cameras. They are installed at outdoor locations. When you look at them critically, we realize that they are well sealed against moisture or rain. There's no way that moisture or rain will get access to these kind of cameras, and that's how come they are called bullet cameras or outdoor cameras. But when you do for this one, you realize that moisture or rain will easily get it damaged. Bullet cameras are installed at outdoor locations, and turret or dome cameras are installed in indoor locations. So let's continue. Let's now go to camera resolutions. Camera resolution, which is measured in megapixel, or the MP. You realize that cameras come in various qualities in terms of how clear, or here I'll try to show the resolutions. The camera can capture, I'm not sure it's very clear, but and so a 2 megapixel camera has a degree or the extent to which you can have your images, unlike another maybe resolution of camera. This one is a 2 MP camera, and this other one, though it's an IP camera, is a 3 MP camera. You'll find the resolutions on the nameplate. This particular one is a 3 MP camera, and this is a 2 MP camera. The megapixel or the MP that is what the resolution is about. And so when you get a camera, or if you are to purchase a camera, those are specifications you'll be putting across, whether it's an indoor camera or an outdoor camera. And then also the resolution is what determines, as even sharper, as there are even some cameras that have gone beyond 4K or the 8 megapixel. So say simply it is an 8 megapixel camera. That is the quality of brightness or sharpness of your camera is rated as 4K or 8 MP. And so that's another point to note about CCTV cameras. Let's move on to the two CCTV video recorders. And I would like to show you the CCTV recorder, or the analog CCTV recorder, analog CCTV video recorder. Remember, the CCTV recorder is essential to the CCTV setup, because that is where the storage of your videos would be done. And so it's an important aspect of your CCTV camera, which is meant for analog CCTV installations. And how you call CCTV recorders that are meant for analog CCTV is what we call the DVR. This is a DVR, or the digital video recorder. That is what the DVR stands for, digital video recorder. This is a recorder meant for IP or digital CCTV systems. Now, the DVR identity, this is the front of the The first one written here is power, indicating power presence. We have the hard disk drive presence, and then also network presence. So at the front, you don't normally have much information at the front of your CCTV video recorder. It is at the back of the recorder that you will find the detailed information on the detailed ports to which the system has AHD CCTV cameras. The first set of ports here, which I believe you can see, are B and C inputs on the DVR. These are what we call B and C inputs, and these are the points through which you can connect video into the DVR. Remember, the DVR stands as the central unit of your CCTV camera installation, and so every system or everything in a CCTV is mostly connected to the DVR. And so this is the point, or these are the points where your videos are connected. Is that if I have just 4 of these inputs, or I have 4 of these connection points meant for connecting cameras, then how can more than 4 cameras be connected into the system? To explain, this particular machine that I have here is a 4-channel DVR. That simply means that this DVR is meant to receive only up to a maximum of 4 cameras. And so there are other systems that come with larger number of inputs for video. And so if you require a system or a setup that you need to have more than 4 cameras, then you need to go for a CCTV video recorder that has that kind of capacity that your system or your requirement will be able to accommodate. So this is a 4-channel DVR, and you can connect video into this camera. And apart from the B and C inputs, let me jump to the display port. Here is a VGA port. A VGA port, let me show you to the interface, the video display, the video graphics adapter, the kind of connector that you use for computers. I have a sample here. Let me show to you the VGA. Basically, the port that looks like a computer connection to the computer's monitor. That is where you connect it, so that you can display your DVR's output on a monitor that has a VGA connection. So, you can connect the DVR to a screen that has the VGA. Apart from the VGA port, there's also an HDMI connection port, so that for modern screens that have the means through which you can connect the HDMI, you can use the HDMI to connect to TV screens. So you just plug an HDMI cable here and also plug to the TV screen that you wish to use for your CCTV camera display. So now let me also the audio out that suggests that if you have cameras that come with microphone that will enable you to hear to a speaker where you can hear the sound of the cameras audibly. So that's the reason for this kind of audio out port. There is also audio input ports on the DVR, where if a camera has sound, it will give you provision to be able to plug in the sound from the camera into the DVR. This is a 4-channel DVR, and so provision is made for 4 audio inputs into the DVR as well. And I was mentioning in my introduction that the DVR, which is the recorder for analog CCTV systems, is able to give you the ability to view analog cameras online. That is possible through the Ethernet port that is here. Through this port, in subsequent lessons, that's what we're going to use to be able to learn how to put the DVR online. So through a network cable plugged in here, you can connect internet into the DVR so that you can put your cameras on the internet, so you can view the cameras on the internet. So that's about that. 4-channel DVR, because it has provision to carry a maximum of 4 cameras through these BNC inputs that are meant for connecting video into the DVR. Remember, I mentioned earlier on that analog cameras have BNC video connection or BNC video terminal, and so you also find that the DVR or the digital video recorder also has BNC inputs through which you can connect your cameras into your DVR. And so that is that. Now we haven't gotten to the system where the point where we'll, but a DVR comes with a firmware already in it. A DVR comes with a firmware. A firmware is, realize that you have the situation where the CCTV screen is divided into various segments. For example, with my 4-channel DVR, when we connect it to a screen and we look at the screen, the firmware comes with the DVR from home or from the manufacturers. You do not have to do any upload of firmware onto this. The firmware comes with the DVR. By the time you know the capacity, this is a 4-channel DVR. When you connect it to a screen, so you do not have to do any configuration to have that kind of windows to display your cameras. I had time that I could just open this. The DVR houses what we call a hard disk drive. A hard disk drive on which data or the video from your cameras will be stored, because this is the unit on which your cameras are recorded. The recordings are done into a hard disk drive. I will maybe in the next lesson I will open up the system, the DVR, and show how you can install your hard disk drive into the DVR to be able to take up the recordings. But note that the bigger the size of hard drive installed in the DVR, the longer the duration of recordings you can do. So you must choose your hard drive according to the volume of data you want to save or you want to record per time. But does not mean that you want a large number or a large duration of time. That is the number of days of video you can save. If you want longer duration, it is not open that you can go and take any size of hard drive. No, the manufacturers of the DVR have a specific limit which you can find in your DVR manual that tells you the highest or the largest size of hard drive. Refer to your manual to know the size of hard drive you can install in your DVR. But I assure you, in the next lesson I will show you the hard drive, how it is fully installed in the hard drive into the DVR, I want to do today. And so another information to share is that the DVR is the central unit of the CCTV system. It's a central unit because when you take the DVR, the cameras, the display units, and even the interface for the connection of internet into the system so that you can view it online or on mobile or on computer, comes into the DVR. So the DVR CCTV setup is connected to the DVR. So by the time you know what connects to each of these inputs of the DVR, it should be easy to set up a CCTV camera system. So if I show you how to, by the time we look at how to terminate the various cables that go into these ports that are on the DVR, then we are almost there at being able to set up the CCTV. Very simple and very easy like that. There is no difficulty about it. That is just the process. So the DVR is a central unit of your CCTV camera installation, and it comes with the connection ports through which you can do your connections. I've already talked about the capacity or the size of your DVR. The capacity is the number of channels it has, or the provision for connecting. I've loved to attend to viewer comments, but I think there are difficulties with the viewer comment section, and I so much apologize for that. And so I think that I would go back and go through the chats and try to questions that you would have asked in this question. I'm so much sorry that I couldn't address the live comments that you would have sent for now. I'm so much sorry for today, and so I wouldn't want to continue beyond this point. I want to end it for now, so that in the next session I will next time. So in the next lesson I'll try to address all the challenges we've had in this session, so that we can have a smoother session. So I'll end it here, but I'll do well to go through the comments that you've sent. In the next session, I want to active session where you get to put across your questions and I will address them one after the other. I'm so much sorry for so we have a smooth transition. My target is that these lessons will be able to answer everyone's question, so that I'm so much glad you came around. I'm so much appreciative of your time. I pray that next time everything will go on well, so that you benefit maximally for this section. Thank you so much for being there. I love you. Bye-bye.